first of all, I don't, when we say ground fighting, I guess we have to say that for people to understand what we're about to talk about. First of all, when you're looking at science, all it is the change of planes. You have a vertical plane and a horizontal plane. Whatever you learn vertically, you should be able to apply horizontally. So there is no difference in fighting other than you're at a different plane. Then there are some physics about that plane that are required to know. In other words, how do you use force to take people off balance, and how do you maintain it on that type of horizontal plane? One of the things about when most people, when they look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they say Brazilian, first of all, let's say, what is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Well, I've seen Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've seen it from the source, and there is no difference between it and Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. Then there's Chinese, the word Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, it goes all over the place in the Orient. It simply means punch, strike, moves, and the way the body works in a punch, strike, and then you get into grappling. So Jiu-Jitsu is very good. There's nothing wrong with Jiu-Jitsu other than the fact that it's a sport. And even at its highest base, it still has a defensive set in it, and it sacrifices the central nervous system, and it sacrifices a sense of balance and usability. But in the arena from which it's been played, it's a very ironic situation to watch some very smart people, and that's what I give them. I think the racers are very smart. You have to give them what they do. They've taken a very interesting approach to that arena, and they've put it in a very interesting process to which they can dominate that system because of their skill level or their knowledge. And at least that's what they thought. What happened was when they came over to America, Americans are very aggressive and very big and they don't always just believe in the world champion. It doesn't always scare them. So Americans have this tendency to start watching them, and they just started doing things like dropping their center and started punching their faces and kicking them and hitting them harder. Now, quite frankly, as you know, we believe that all fights should end up on the ground. The difference is I don't end up on the ground all the time. The other thing is, it is ludicrous to think that you should ever go to the ground when you're fighting more than one man. And it is also nonsense to think that you could ever walk the streets of today and in the future and get attacked by one criminal. You're going to get attacked by 2s, 3s, and 4s. And you're going to have to fight more than one at a time. And let's don't pick on the Brazilians. Let's just pick on the fact of what we call ground fighting, the ground fighting phenomena. The only phenomena that's him has gone into a ring. It's gone into a ring because it's very hard for people who have never learned the proper, number one, proper fighting set, proper understanding of how the mind works. They're using a defensive against a defensive system, and what the wrestlers do is they do a lunge. And when the human gets lunged at with a large body mass, it has what they call a free set to it. And we can see it over and over again. The man plants himself, and voila. If you know how to get in right, which they do, you're on the ground, and if you resist at all, you're going to be on the wrong end of the receiving force. And that puts them at advantage. But if you knew physics like we teach you, and we show you these tricks, these concepts, we educate people, this is how it works, regardless of who you are in the world, regardless of whether or not you're some special talent. And we don't want you to be sitting there getting your head pounded in and have this special ability to sit there and get your head kicked in and still maintain your consciousness. You know, unfortunately, most people don't have that cranial stability. And we can also look at champions in the world, regardless of what you say, boxing, wrestling, judo. Judo, they have a few champions. Are all Brazilian judo people, whether they're Gracies or other Brazilian judo base, are all of them champions every time they enter the ring? Absolutely not. It's the same thing with the rest of the people. Are they all champions? No, it's a special character. You know why? Because it's a sport. Now, you put them in real combat. You put them out in the field, and you give them a gun, and you give them somebody trying to cut their head off, and they find the gun gets jammed, and they have to think, and they can't make mistakes. Then we find that the ultimate warrior certainly becomes the ultimate corpse, because that's the difference between a grappling system and the SCAR system. It deals with that. Grappling, we don't grapple, we use compression fighting. It's totally different. It's deadly, yet it can be used in a harmless way. We introduce police officers to that. We travel all over, and every place that quote, we don't have competition, to tell you the truth, but every place that these martial artists have gone, we look at them, great chokehold, great takedown. Now let me show you something. And we show them some of our scientific processes of how the body works, and we show them some unique things about how you truly do relaxation techniques and how you understand vertical and horizontal planes. If you understand this, just by laying a hand here, it nullifies everything else. Immediately ends the fight. It doesn't last for a minute. It lasts for as long as you apply the compression movement. So compression, as we come out, and we're having tapes that we're coming out dealing with it. First, what I want to deal with, and I want everybody to know, I want to deal with the facts. I want to say, here's the horizontal plane, and here's how the best in the world do it, and here's how you can know all their tricks. We're going to show you all the things that they know, and then we're going to show you things we know they don't know. And these are just to get you ready so you can understand the horizontal and vertical plane. Once again, if they get it first, if they get the video first, then they're going to learn it first and start using it. But again, it's just, that's a sport concept. With us, we teach the actual life and death kind of concept of where we're not going to mess around and grapple. And we're going to teach you how to do it so you can fight more than one man.